All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we have a very special guest in this interview, Patrice. Patrice joined 3 months ago the 90 Days to Online Freedom, and he had a spectacular join because he was very hesitant about what was happening and he did not know what was wrong in his business, averaging 200 euros a day at that moment. And right now he just posted that he made in the last 30 days, a few days ago, 200K per month doing dropshipping with only using Google Ads. Patrice, welcome, my friend. Congratulations on the fucking insane transformation, going from 200 euros a day to 200K per month. Tell me, what changed?
Yeah, it's been quite insane. I think the biggest change that I did was that I was just going out and trying something new. I think the way to do things good in this business to try to do something radically different. Now I've been sticking with one strategy for half a year and it didn't really work. And I had a lot of reservations about going into changing a new strategy because you put a lot of effort into something.
Yeah.
And then there is a cost for changing, like it's in your mind a lot. You have to change something. And then when you shift, it's like a big, even you're going the wrong way, you put so much effort into it that you still try to keep it going. But sometimes just radically switching is what's needed. And this was the radical switch that I made. And the wares and everything that I was selling is sort of similar. It's just that the intent wasn't there before. Now there is intent behind.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's
So
actually
the intention changed, like literally the whole intention, like, okay, I'm going to stick for this one for at least 3, 4, 5 months and just see if it's working, or?
It's a little bit like I was doing a lot of I had really great products that I was selling before,
Yeah.
but they didn't work. And then you start like, why doesn't they work? They were amazing. And I did get some like little sales here and there, but it wasn't really consistent. So it was very difficult to actually. And also when you're starting, you're starting something, and then there were so many questions about Facebook and algorithm and TikTok and everything, and it's a lot of complications. And for me, it made sense that, of course, on Google, people are looking for stuff. And there are many things that are going against it because you have so much competition. In my mind, like, why would it ever work? You're selling the same shit as everybody else. Why would anyone want to buy from you? Because there's a listing just behind selling it for cheaper. So I had a lot of reservations about it.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking that now I've tried something and I've seen that some other people are doing it. Let me just try this. And I actually put some effort into it and I stuck with it. It didn't really pay off in the start, but after a little while, it started to really ramp up.
Yeah.
So it was really the intent from the customer, I think, and the realization that you don't have to really be perfect to manage to do it. Like if you do it well enough, it's good enough. You don't have to be out competing everybody with better prices. You don't have to out compete everybody with localization. You don't have to out compete everybody with regards to the images or the offer or whatever. You just have to do a lot and sort of do the 80% the best, and then it's enough, And I was like stuck in my head thinking you had to do everything 100%. And you have all these reasons why it shouldn't go. But then I've been also thinking back on the companies that I've been working for. And I know it, but it's in my subconsciousness that where I've been working, they've been doing things very wrong, but it's been going great anyways. And as long as I can just do something and I can do it reasonably well, it should work. So that was the main focus shift for me, really.
That's a really interesting one. Is this also the reason that you think, because when I met you, it was like maybe at the end of July, you were thinking about joining the community and you literally told me like, but dude, I already have a better website. I already have better products. I already have a better price. And then I told you literally like, yeah, but then you're just doing something really wrong if you have this in place. And I told you like, I'm a lazy, stupid dropshipper and I still make a good amount of money. And I saw in your face, like, it was like a slap in your face, like, but I'm doing everything already at the best. So maybe lowering your thoughts and lowering your ego, and you're just like, oh, let's just try it on this way and not focusing on indeed the wrong 20%, but now you focused on the real 20% that does 80% of the outcome.
Yeah.
While you still know the rest of the 20% is still not touched, but it doesn't really matter.
You're really hitting the nail on the head there.
Wow.
And just radically changing something, that was also the big thing for me. Yeah.
That's insane, man. I'm getting goosebumps from that. It's just a mindset shift instantly. Instead of like the most people that I speak and make the biggest transformations, it's like, oh, they started switching from TikTok ads and Facebook ads to Google ads. But you were already doing Google ads, but you were just in your head way too much instead of like doing the work that was needed for the 80% of the outcome, which is insane.
No, I think maybe you misunderstood me there. I wasn't doing any Google ads before. I was just I started doing Google ads when I joined the community. I was doing Pinterest, I was doing TikTok.
Oh yeah, Pinterest, that was it. Yep.
I was doing all of these things, and I got like clicks and everything, but it was just one. Like, I'm not saying that Facebook doesn't work. It probably works, but I didn't really have a proper strategy. I was following gurus on YouTube telling me, like, if you would spend 20 euros and you didn't get a sale, then throw the product away. And it's sort of, okay, I know these are good products, but I've been doing like product tests for around 200-300 products already. And I've never really made money on a single one. Like, Pinterest was the only thing that sort of I could stabilize, or like I didn't really make money either, but I got some sales and I didn't go in minus. So sticking with Google was just the first time I could really see that on a consistent basis, I was actually earning money. And I think also just maybe it's because I'm overanalyzing too much and I quit. But it was sort of, I was following guidelines, and I think there's just so many guides out there that you have to stick with one. And then stick to it and just let it go. And then after, and you have to be this is a game where you have to be okay with putting up money and losing money.
Exactly.
And that's also something which is like, I'm not comfortable with doing that. That's not how I've been living my life, really. I haven't, and now I have another like relation to money completely than I used to have before, to be honest.
And did that change now a little bit? Because I know, like, just before we started this conversation, you were like, yeah, now it is hitting like $3,000 per day in my bank account every day, because that was the profit that you've been doing per day. Did it change, or does it even get more amplified right now?
Well, it's like heroin, in good and bad ways, but definitely it's sort of, you start to think about the things that matter and you stop worrying about these little things. I look at the grand total and I see where my costs are and I see which buttons to press. It's sort of interesting that I'm worrying about fees for the banks, because other people, they might not worry at all, because they know that it's easier to just earn more money than to worry about optimizing their backend. But all of these things are things that I'm going through right now. I'm thinking, like, I'm a guy who comes from the I'm a little bit Dutch in the sense that I don't like to waste money. I think Dutch people, they're like the most
greedy.
And I'm a little bit like that as well. And it likes, if I see something not optimized, and if I see someone taking sort of advantage of something, I don't like it. I just want things to be fair. And but I realize now that maybe I should put my effort somewhere else. It's like easier maybe to earn money than to worry about the things that are going wrong. But in my nature, I'm sort of someone that likes to optimize a little bit, you know?
It suits you as well. It makes you more flattering as well in that aspect, because I know a lot of dropshippers don't go the extra mile. So if you take me, for example, you will never see me doing the extra mile, because I tell you and the other community members as well, I have other stuff to do about worrying, like making my dropshipping business way bigger, while I still see my dropshipping business as a stepping stone to the bigger business that I'm building. And that takes more years, that takes more cash. So I'm always using this like dropshipping milestone as a stepping stone for the next come up. And a lot of people, and that's when I think, like, okay, that's pretty good if you do it. You can make a very sustainable business about dropshipping. It is, to be honest, like, especially if you're in Google, you don't need to tweak that much. You can just leave it and it will keep printing. And then indeed the optimization starts, what you've been talking about. Optimization for fees, better payment processors, capturing rate, abandoned carts, this kind of stuff. And I guess if you go that route, you will have a very sustainable business. But then indeed, the main thing needs to be in order, and that's just the customer lifetime value, which is normally pretty low on dropshipping. That's why I'm telling people, like, don't overcompensate on dropshipping, because the intention normally with dropshipping is just, I want to make money, so I'm very secured with the money, so I can build up later something bigger. And if that's still the intention, don't worry too much about it, that your business is not fully optimized yet, because to be honest, 200K a month with, let's say, 40K profit per month, and you had even crazier margins, you're completely changing your life. If you come from 200 euros a day, your life is completely changed within 1 month, actually.
It is. It's insane. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm very proud of that. So if we're telling about the transformation, the first thing was the big mindset shift that you made, focusing on the real thing that really do the output. Secondly, you switch from Pinterest to Google Ads, because the approach is actually almost the same. Pinterest is slow, but very steady, heavy on SEO, by the way, as well. So it is kind of the same, but the buying intent is way differently. So now you finally have a platform that suits you. And the third thing, you came with a background from the corporate world, I believe. You told me in the biggest transformation. Can we touch a little bit more about that one? Like, when did this whole entrepreneurship started? And tell me, what was the Patrice like 5 years ago?
That's a great question. And it's sort of weird with this, because I feel, to be quite honest, I used to have a friend, and he's the most crazy friend that I've ever met. He's like, he has no barriers for nothing, and he thinks no consequences. He's literally the stupidest guy that I've ever met. He started doing testosterone before he even went to the gym. And then he gets a call from his doctor saying that, oh, by the way, we found out that your liver is shutting down.
Yep.
And he's like laughing about it. And then I see him posting something on Facebook. He's literally the most stupid guy I know. And he's posting something about him starting a marketing agency and all the clients he's getting. And it's sort of the same case with people doing accounting. They believe that they can't do everything in accounting, and then they're afraid of starting an accounting firm because they're not 100% sure about everything. And I think this is also the mindset. I've been working now for 10 years. I did economic studies, and I'm more than smart enough. It's nothing like that, but you have all these worries. And after like working 10 years now, I think I know how to sort of a little bit run businesses, but starting it and the start of it, like being the guy that builds something that has the crazy idea, that's difficult for me.
Yeah.
So I think also like finding this thing to do. Before I ended on dropshipping, I was looking into everything. I was looking at starting my own marketing agency as well, but I knew that this doesn't fit me as a person. There is something about, some people, they tell me like, I got a job in UNICEF because I know someone in UNICEF and they got me a job. And that would be like the most, for me, that's like the lowest. If you use someone else to get something, that you don't create something on your own. The marketing agency is a little bit like that for me. You don't create any value. You're just running around and you're just taking money from people. I want to create something. Like if I create something and it doesn't work, then we'll fix it. I want to make people happy with what I'm doing, but I actually want to sell something and provide something. And I felt really quickly that going down this seller route by like creating content, creating faceless YouTube videos, creating marketing agency or whatever it could be, it wasn't for me. I knew that I've been now working for 10 years, helping other people to sell all kinds of stuff. And I was working as a CMO for a long time. I've been working as a marketing officer so I sort of know all the KPIs and I know all the theory behind it. But actually, the realization that I came to was that you have to make your own reality.
Yep.
If you do everything the way like society wants you to do, you're just going to be a slave for other people.
Yep.
And you're never going to unleash your potential.
Yep.
And there's always like worries, but I know that it's like fighting. It's just being very uncomfortable and going to sleep. That's why you're actually being rewarded. It's because you go to sleep not knowing everything.
Yep.
But one of the jobs that I was working, I don't know how much money I made for them with ads and what I was doing. So, but it was like I came to realization there that after doing that, I had nothing left for it. I don't feel like I've ever grown as a person with really my work anywhere. And now, like the last half year, like from day to day, I feel like I'm growing. So this is like, I feel that I've been changing a lot as a person from being the economy student that was like following theory, and now I'm actually practicing and everything. And it's like big, you know, and it's sort of weird because one of my best friends, he's the leader of this marketing agency here in Oslo, where I live, and he's like good in theory, but then he doesn't have any practical experience. I also talked to my brother about what I'm doing, and he has all these reasons why it's not working and why it's like, no, it's cheap Chinese products and everywhere. And yeah, but everything is made in China today. It's just that you have to find your way around it and you have to solve the problem. So I see that the step that I've been taking is sort of being the guy who is always making up excuses for everything and why it shouldn't be working, and to actually do something and to do it like 70-80% well. And then you figure out the last 10%, and being in acceptance with the last 10%, you will never be able to do it, but that doesn't matter. So I've been and also like being sitting in these long meetings with people where you discuss these really like insignificant things in these big companies, and then you can actually spend your time doing the things that matter on your own, actually figuring out stuff, actually talking to people that are doing stuff. And I think that's also great with the community, because I think that everybody here is open and they're open to sharing. Like we don't share always our stories with each other, but we always talk about, okay, how do you do it with PayPal? How do you do it with this? How do you do it? Do you see any effect really with the images? Does it matter to have the meta titles or not?
Yeah.
And this is like stuff that we were sitting talking about for hours, and we could even have like a meta SEO optimizer. And it's just talk, it's just politics everywhere else. And this is where there's no politics.
Yeah.
And we're just doing, and we're just learning. And that's the amazing thing now. And but it's a very different day.
It completely switched for you. It completely I know, like I've been in the corporate world as well, but indeed it's totally different if you're hanging around in these meetings with your colleagues or your boss, and you know, like, oh my God, you take the information, you apply it till 5 p.m., but then laptop shut off and the growth stops. Literally, the growth stops. Tomorrow morning, you check in at 9 a.m. and you really need to think, okay, what do I need to change today to survive today? Okay, that's fine. But indeed, in the community, we have the same stuff. Sometimes it's like a 30 minutes call and everyone is like, okay, we're done for the day. Okay, that's fine. But sometimes we even have these calls that takes like 2 hours because we have an in-depth conversation, which is really good. And I feel literally the inner growth as well. Like, holy shit, a lot of you guys push me to even become a better leader, to be a better community member, to be a better community host, to provide more value. So now I'm being pushed more like, hey, just if you're part of the community, you need to provide value. Otherwise, you will feel left out. You will literally feel left out. And that's what I really love about building a community that is like-minded. Because now when you tap in this stuff, you instantly feel the switch. Even though you're not making the results yet, you feel that you're in an environment that really pushes you in a subconscious way, literally, because you feel some people that just joined, like in 15 days, they already make their first 2K. That's just because they're being pushed and they see the results like, oh my God, I just joined 15 days ago. Someone made 2K in 15 days. I can do the same, because the framework that we teach, it's the easiest. To be honest, it's the most stupidest and easiest money you can ever make. I'm being upfront honest. I'm doing dropshipping for 6 years. Facebook ads, TikTok ads, marketing, creative, that's the hard part. But just running Google ads is the easiest part. It's because there's buying intent already. But if you, and this is why I think the big difference comes with especially the beginner of the dropshipper and the dropshipper that you are becoming right now, you can do 100K once a month, but doing this for the whole year is a whole different ballgame. And this is what annoys me the most. People make 100K 1 month, then they start coaching, or they move to Dubai. They just pay for the immigration and I don't know what some kind of stuff. And then the Facebook ads manager gets blocked, and then they go to 0. And then they start like doing black hat, gray hat shit, or just trying other stuff to make it work. First, make sure that you just make 100K per month for at least 6 months. Then you know you have a skill that is applicable to multiple businesses later as well. Because having cash flow and having 600K in 6 months is insane. And you will never have this opportunity before doing anything else. I guess with like for especially Google Ads dropshipping, that's the easiest route to do it. And if you see this right now as a stepping stone to grow yourself way better than the CMO Patrice 5 years ago, that's insane. That's insane leverage. That's insane leverage, because you never know what this will bring you in 10 to 20 years. You will never know, but you will look back to this like, hey, but I did this. I made 200K in 30 days without going broke, with feeling fulfilled and having money in my bank from nothing to 40K in my bank account, which is insane.
Yeah, it's been it's like you wake up and then you get stronger also, like as a person, because you know that like I went to the army, and the army was sort of it was too long. It didn't have to be there. But if you stay in the tent with people that you don't like for many weeks, you know sort of how to hate something. And now I know that every time, like what's changed with me is that I know that every time there is something that comes up, I know that there will always be a solution to it. And I didn't really think like that before. I was like just nervous, and I was just, now I'm relaxed with, like, I'm more relaxed than I used to, but I feel growth every day, and I'm really, yeah, it's changed me a lot.
No, that's insane. Let's talk a little bit more about the business stuff. I know people would really love that they're just watching this and they're right now at Patrice 3 months ago. The 1st of August you joined. It's insane. Like 3 months ago, you were doing 200 euros a day. Now 200K per month. What will be the first step that people really need to make the switch from going, for example, from the 200 euros a day, what you were doing, to the first 1K a day? What do you think will be the biggest switch that make this happen?
I think it's just to do what you tell them to do. It isn't too difficult. It's just that people start to talk about other things. It's it's like weird. You have a lot of now there is this election in the United States, and sometimes there are political debates here in Norway as well. And the only party that I can sort of vote for is the party that is talking about the problems, and they might not have the solutions, but they're actually talking about the problem. Like, should you have a teacher that knows mathematics that are teaching kids English, or should they not? Okay, what has happened when we try this in other countries? Is it good or is it bad? Do every teacher need to know mathematics in order to be a good teacher? Yeah. Some parties, they say, yeah, because they have to have a certain intelligence. And other parties, they say, no, because they're just teaching English. And I don't know the correct answer, but at least there is a discussion about it. And I feel like some of the political parties, they don't really discuss the problem, and they don't do it. And it's the same with people. A lot of the people here in the community, they are not really neurotic like me, but I see that some people, they don't do what it takes. They like to be a part of the call, and they are they like to talk to people, but when it comes to actually doing the work and actually testing it, they don't put in the time. This isn't easy. It's like I've been pushing 70 products every day. I found a way to do it, but that's what you have to do. And I was like, I had all this shit going on. I was fulfilling orders manually. Yes. I did everything. Like I was like doing 200,000 per month until I found my first hire, you know. I didn't fucking like let customer service onto their own. I made SOPs. I did everything. So there wouldn't be, I found the solutions for everything. And then the solutions aren't perfect necessarily, but I tried everything and I did it myself. A lot of people are just lazy, to be honest. They like to listen, but then they don't do it. And I don't think it's too difficult. It's just being persistent and doing it. Do the work, put in the work, and yeah, it's like input is output. There's no, and just follow the recipe, really.
Yeah, it's true. And I guess What you maybe did before was like following different gurus as well, like following different strategies, and then these different strategies get in your head. So when I tell people like, just go, for example, for the German market, fashion niche, Google Ads will be crushing. And then a lot of people are like, yeah, but I heard this and this and this. And I'm like, hey, I'm not recommending you stuff that will hurt you. It will grow you. Indeed, the obstacle is the way. So where the problem is, you should be going, instead of like, oh, I know there will be some problems there, so I will not go there. So this is why people still do these coachings or this take calls with people, but indeed the action is not there. The action is not there. So I guess indeed focusing on the problem and the obstacle, actually going in there, sticking for 3 months and don't listen to anyone else, then you can literally tell like, hey, what Jesper is telling in this community thing is really not working for me because I tried everything for 3 months. Then I will tell people like, okay, then you're maybe right. But I know nobody is doing that. Literally the people that tell me like, Jesper, your stuff is not working, then I know like, then you did not apply everything that I told you yet. And it's just not, that's why I don't tell like 100%, because I tell 80%, because if you focus on that one, it's crazy. Maybe I even tell 20% in the community, because I know that 20% will make you 80% of your money. Indeed, hire a VA, upload products to your store, run Google Ads in a good market. That's it. That's literally it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people go into them, these insane markets that I tell like people don't go in there because these markets are crazy. That's not good. And what they do? Yeah, because you do this, then I guess the other way will be differently. Yeah, but that's not good. I hate it even when people tell me, I will be selling this product because I've seen no one else is selling this. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Don't touch this product because everything is already being sold. So yeah, it's funny. It's funny what people focus on. So you were doing 200 euros a day, and then I believe the first post that you made was and at the end of August you were doing like 5K a day or something. So it was picking up pretty. You're picking up pretty quickly momentum. If we just watch at your business, you were focusing on multiple markets, but the funny thing is you did have the same products that you were selling on Pinterest, but these products were actually selling on Google as well for you. Did you switch also with your product research as well?
The best performing products that I have is products that I spent a little bit more time with earlier. But it's sort of, it doesn't make sense to spend 1 hour working with one perfect product page if you can spend 1 hour and then import 50 products. It's sort of, you have to figure out what is the most important, how much time you have. But it's like I don't do any more Pinterest after I switched to Google. There is more than enough to be focusing on. Like, why would you spend your time with these little things that don't really move the needle? No, just start another store, do something like up your budget, import more products, put kilos instead of like centimeters, do something like with that are actually moving the needle is the best tips I can sort of give there.
And for doing 200K per month right now, your time is way more valuable right now than even like 3 months ago. What is actually what you're doing still in the business yourself? What is like, okay, if I don't do this, my business will not grow?
Getting the money is easy, but then you just have to keep it as well. And there are many things that I still am doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still looking for the products. I have a product manager like that imports it, but they are working and they're not being. That's like something that I have. That's 20% of my products, and the 80% I do myself. So yeah, I do that. I pay people. I do the ads myself. I start another store. I build the store. I'm really like looking into all of the processes and see where, like when we get a refund or return, what happens then? How should we solve it? You have to be, I'm trying to make it like, to think like, how do we solve this in a good way? I'm trying to figure out so that it will run on its own, to try to keep myself out of the business as much as I can and just leave it to people. That's the But to be honest, it's a little bit difficult right now. It's not like you press and you earn 200,000, then just leave it. No, it's
It's more
every
money,
day.
more problems, like Jay-Z told you.
Yeah, it is. But when you have dealt with this problem the first time, you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
Then you have a solution.
So you
So
feel like more confident about it right now than Patrice even 3 months ago? You feel like the more confident right now because you have now, for instance, we can touch a little bit more on this. I know like, okay, shit, you're making a good amount of money that you now start worrying about taxes and this kind of stuff. But
yeah,
now, first of all, you have the network. And secondly, you have the capital to get to these people. Is that making you more confident as well?
of course it is. It's just yeah, it's just that I am naturally a little bit neurotic, and when I don't know anything, like everything, it's just all the things that might happen. But definitely, it's easier when you already made the money, and then you just don't want to lose it all. And I'm seeing like I was super happy like half a month ago. Everything was, but then something happens. Sometimes they shut you down. Sometimes you get a DMCA.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get something in your inbox that you don't want to be, and then you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And that's just natural. If you're doing something like what we are doing, there will be problems. It's just to be comfortable with problems, to know that if you want, it's like, if in order for there to be sunshine, there needs to be a little darkness as well.
Yep.
It's or else you won't appreciate any sunshine.
Yep.
To be quite honest.
I was telling with you as well, like even the its brain itself, it's trained for problem solution. So we are actually having this skill from naturally that we want to see these problems and we want to conquer them and we want to solve them. This is literally why all the men are normally in the fire front. When there is like war, you only see men because it's in our nature as well. Like we want to solve this. We want to solve this shit. We want to solve this literally. And I guess indeed, if you're getting way more comfortable about solving smaller problems, the bigger problems becomes easier as well, because the viewpoint is like, oh, I have been here before. I have felt this stress before, but I know after rain and sunshine as well. But after sunshine, rain will come as well. It is always this cycle of life, and you will get so comfortable with this that I know, like if you start later a business as well and you start from zero, you already know which stress will bring this to you. You already know, like, okay, starting something from zero is very frustrating, but the reward later is so insane, so you can delay the gratification. And I guess that's really strong about doing business, especially if you save up a shit ton of money. You can make a shit ton of money while doing dropshipping. You can make millions literally, and then it still feels stupid when you meet someone that just built a real estate company and is doing 200 million a year. Then you're like, what the fuck? But now you have the capital to start maybe doing this, while this guy needed to do it all by networking and doing work for someone else, for example. And I guess this leverage is insane from this whole online internet money that sometimes doesn't feel real, but you're actually dealing with real customers.
And there is something to be said also for like creating your own reality. I'm really happy just being self-sufficient. It feels so nice to not being dependent on someone else really to make stuff. So it feels like self-fulfillment. Some people need to go to Mount Everest to feel it, and some people got to have kids, and a lot of people, they get kids and then it's sort of, that's their life. And that's great. I think everybody should have kids if they want to and they're able to. And I would like to have kids as well, but there has to be something else to self-fulfillment. Because to be honest, like we live in Europe, there's never going to be any need to do anything. You can always get by, but life is short and you need to do something else than just get by,
Yeah, it's true. It's very strong as you say this. If the date that we're recording is that 2nd of November, I want to touch a little bit on the future as well, because Black Friday, Cyber Monday is around the corner, the holidays. Do you have some goals that you want to achieve this next 2 months? Like literally, what do you want to have at the 1st of January?
Peace of mind, mostly. To be honest, I've been scared about scaling more because I haven't been sure that the things in the back end can cope with it.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Like, I heard this guy and he was talking about how he did some crazy numbers, and then 1 month later all was gone. And this is like, I would never run into those kind of problems. I just want to, it's not really about even doing the most. It's just to have a good life so you can get by, and to be having actually free time to be able to spend it. So to get a team on board more now, to have people to automate more, to not worry, and to find some more solutions so I can sleep a little bit better. But in terms of revenue, it's sort of my own choice. It's I could have doubled my budgets and done more, but that's not who I am. I would rather like pay 800 euro and do now 9,000 in sales than pay like 2,000 euro and do 12,000 in sales. It's sort of and also to be a little bit more in control. I'm doing a lot of different things now, and then I learn a lot. I've learned what I shouldn't be selling and what I wouldn't be doing. But because you know that, oh, this product has gained me a shit ton, but then and you probably come out ahead in a long way, but then you also have a lot of disputes with them, and then maybe you don't do them, even though you would earn a lot of money. You just save yourself the headaches. So I think it's like I don't really have a goal rather than to have more peace of mind, to be honest, and feel a little bit more. It's like, I feel that I've been growing so much, so I will scale more when I see that everything works in the back end and everything is like going smoothly.
What I think, what you're really reflecting me on right now, what brings me inspiration to you is like it seems to be that you have the emotion greediness very much under control. You're not that greedy. You're not literally that greedy that, you know, like, oh, when I push this button, I can get way more. I can get more revenue, but because you already know more revenue brings in more problems, more headaches, and you're very cautious with your headaches. You're a little bit more neurotic, that you told me, like, you know already, like it will maybe bring you way more stress than the average person that knows, like, I will deal with that later. If you have that kind of peace of mind, first, yeah, sure, let's go, let's scale the shit out of it, but then you will deal with the big problems literally later, and they will be bigger than your problems right now, because you're doing very calculated risk, very calculated problems. You already know these problems will occur, but when they occur, they are way smaller, because indeed you did not take for granted the greediness. Oh, let's scale to 20K a day. Because I know, in effect, if you go from 200 euros a day to, let's say, 20K a day with only one store, one PayPal, one payment provider, no VAT solution, you will be having so much stress later on that you use all your money to solve that. And that's terrifying, because then the business goes down. And then you're like, oh my God, now I'm spending all this money to fix it. And then you tell yourself, why was I so greedy? I could stick with 5K a day. I could stay with 9K a day. That's true. And that's what I really want to teach as well. If you're very comfortable at one spot, just create more comfortable spots. If you have one store doing 5K a day with 30% profit margin, it's insane. You can have multiple of them. You can have multiple markets of them. You can have, I don't know, you can just multiply that instead of like going in the vertical, and just scale that one like to the roof till it's gone, till literally it's gone. This is what I show. I build a Dutch store. I shared it with you guys. You have seen it scaling me to 250K in 3 months, and then I just sold this store, and this is actually money on my bank account. Now I have like 30K to maybe create 5 more stores. Nice. I have the peace in mind right now, and I guess this is really powerful. And you have this already in your nurture, you have this already in your brain, but that's because you're also a little bit older. You have more life experience, and you already know what the cons, the con is. You already literally know what the pros and the cons is by being greedy.
Yeah, it's always a gray area, everything. There is never a straight right or straight wrong, but you shouldn't be asking for too much, because to have a little bit more, you will just lose it all. It's like, I can remember, if anyone watches this and want to see a movie about this, there's an Indian movie called Tumbad, and it's a really good movie, and it talks about the nature of people, how everything is going smoothly And what happens when you just want the last piece?
Yeah.
Then it's always going just to crap.
Yeah.
And how greedy are you going to be? Like, when does it stop? It's then not worth it.
I really love this conversation. I would love to round it up a little bit. We're around like, I go 40 minutes in, which is really, really good. If you would have one piece of advice for the people that are watching this that are not in the community, they're thinking maybe about, okay, maybe I should join the community, or maybe I should switch to Google Ads. What would you tell these people that are still in their head, think like analysis paralysis, that they have like, oh my God, they're just thinking too much? What do you think will be a very good advice for these people?
It all depends on, as you say, like what kind of personality type. I think I'm a little bit of a special person. I don't think the normal people are as neurotic as me. So I'm probably in the scale there. But this is like, I'm skeptical to many things. I don't really trust people. I find it difficult to understand how anyone would reach out to my inbox and then just help me for the good of it. That's happened in this community. And I've had good people helping me and people not scamming me. And it's just, it's internet and there's money. And that's a recipe for disaster. It's like, I've talked to so many people also here starting these different programs. And the reason I chose to join is because it's made of sort of sense to me, and it was like a little bit transparent what you were doing. It wasn't like behind this whole wall, and then you're supposed to find out what's happening after you join.
Yeah,
that's been the case with a lot of people that I've been speaking to in this community with other programs, and they tell me they've been doing other programs, and then no, it wasn't really anything like it was supposed to. But here it's actually real. So what we don't know is how long it's going to work, but for now it works, and it's now that counts.
And
it's now that you need to take action. So that's my.
I love that. Really, I really love that ending, Patrice, because I never thought about this one as well. Like, indeed, it's working right now. So why should you even thinking about it way longer and thinking, no, I'm not gonna do this. Maybe later, because this is why I'm a marketeer as well. So I know what happens now. Right now, the community is closed. Nobody can join, because I want to show people as well. First of all, we want to focus on the current members. I want to update the community and the classrooms as well, because I know people like you have way bigger questions right now. So I want to solve that as well. But then secondly, it's not always that you have opportunities in life. I will not teach people like, oh yeah, just wait on the opportunity till the next one. When you feel the opportunity is there, sometimes, literally always, you need to take it. If you feel this, what can I lose? And for this program, it's literally $200. That's what you can lose. You will not lose your life. What is the opportunity cost? And that's what we talked about at the beginning. There's always a cost by not taking opportunity as well. And a lot of people don't think about that. Clearly enough.
Well, this is normal human nature. The scarcity of losing is much bigger than winning something. It's the same with we talk about Trustpilot. Why is there no positive reviews? 90% of people are happy, but it's just the 10% that are unhappy. So it's much easier to complain than to be positive. Really, it's just. But if you're actually being logical about it, it's go. And it's the same thing with people sticking with their girlfriends or boyfriends for a long time. They're no good match, but it's difficult to go out and find someone new. That's why they don't do it. It's the same with their job. They hate their job, but going out and actually finding something different, that's
the uncomfortable shit. A lot of people are trained to be uncomfortable the rest of their lives, but want to have comfortable choices in the beginning. But the life is totally different. You need to be uncomfortable at the beginning to be comfortable at the end. And I guess that's how I want to end this conversation. Patrice, you have been a blessing for the whole community. You won the transformation. We do a giveaway every time in the community. You won $1,000, so you even make money by being in this community. That's really, really good. Thank you for this conversation, brother, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, guys.